Evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's news from the pew, and the internet has broken today, and we will try to put it back together like Humpty Dumpty.
Did you say
Uh,
snooze in the pew?
that's right. No, that's only when I get forced into Novus Ordo masses and the priest goes for way too long, and my head hits the back of the bam, because they just keep talking about random stuff. But not today. Not today, ladies and gentlemen. We are action packed and ready to go. A lot of news today. A lot of people talking about some stuff that happened.
What happened?
And
I was out there playing. I wasn't paying any attention.
No, you were better off, man. It was a whole bunch of nothing. It was the biggest tease that's been out there. So it's
Like
just
all of
more
all of alternative media pretty much said there's going to be what's that? They put this GIF up with a certain priest of a certain group that says, "I told you so." Do we need to put more of those out? Like, told you so.
Yeah, I think we do, because people's expectations were a little too high, and y'all got played. Y'all played yourselves. So we have that. I talked about this on my my show the other day, but I'm anxious and eager to get Mr. Cunningham's opinion on Trump's Gaza AI fantasy, which is the amount of copium that's coming out from the Trumpites the last couple days about that was quite entertaining. And Joe Biden is starting to get the book tour treatment. Oh well, Jake Tapper's like, oh, I can't believe his cognitive decline, and we're like, really? You're really gonna do that? And more things as well. Yeah, that's why you don't listen to Steve. Actually, is the Fort Worth Gaza tonight? Is the Fort Worth Gaza taking place tonight? I think it is, Steve.
Is it? I sent somebody's live stream. I sent you the link that somebody was doing a live stream. I don't know. I forgot. I didn't read it.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up while we're talking about this. But what was it? The Fort Worth Gala or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Gala.
I'll pull it up. I said I sent you.
But it's whatever. Bannon's an idiot, and that's why you shouldn't listen to anything Steve Bannon says. But there's a lot of Catholics who.
Yeah, tune in at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. on my X feed. Some guy named Beau French.
Oh, I know who that is. Beau French. Yeah. Yep, I know who you're talking about. But
I don't see anything live or anything. It's just from megagala.org.
Megagala.org.
I am not joking. It's mega-gala.org.
Yep, I got it. Yep. Make America Great Gala, Tarrant County. Oh, I can still get tickets.
Really? Scalping them?
Yeah. Oh, hey, instead of 150, they're only $100
tomorrow.
Now. What?
This is Gala Eve. It's tomorrow.
No, it's February. Oh, it's right. I'm sorry. It's Friday. That's why you can still get the added VIP ticket for $1,000 if you want to. So if you want to go sniff.
Plenty of good seats still available if you're driving by the Vault Bar Park or anything. Just.
Well, it's going to be interesting that Jack Busibik's going to be there fresh off of his Pam Bondi debacle. I would pay $1,000.
Binder.
What?
I hope he enjoys his binder today.
I do. I would pay $1,000 if I had it just to walk up to him tomorrow and be like, "So how's that binder treating you?" just to see his face. Like, "Hey, you blocked me on Twitter, you." And then I would say some things that are not appropriate.
If I was nearby, I might actually go down there just to video these guys. Go, hey, let me play this guy's AI and comment on it. You cowards.
Yep.
Literally.
Trad cats. What do you think of this? Is this approved?
Is this what we want now?
Where he bowls over Bethlehem for this Trump hotel right here? Is that cool? We good with that?
Well, let's go ahead and play just so, because this is one of my guys that follow me on Twitter tagged me and goes, Steve, you got to see this. And I guess he just saw when Trump social cutting, because I literally went up there. I saw it on Trump social. It was nowhere on the internet, so it was the copy. I don't know how they got it up there. So we saw first one to see it. I had friends text me up, goes, where did you find that? I go, it's the social media that he owns. By the way, Elon owns X. Trump owns True Social. So, I mean, let's not control the narrative and all this. This is beyond jaw dropping.
the sea. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1.
How dare you?
And the people are like, this is 4D chess. This is a troll, the epic level. Trump's just trolling people. He's not serious. And my first response was, can you please take the AI button away from Trump? Can you just take it away from him? Because he's going to be like, look at this. I can put the pretty ladies dancing around me. Look at that. They're dancing. Elon, you like the hummus? I'm going to have you eating hummus for 45 seconds. Don't worry. All the cars will be Teslas and all the hotels will be Trump. It'll be beautiful. Don't worry about it. It's beautiful. Hey, we'll put some bearded women in there for the others, you know, because I like everybody. I don't have any problems. So we got the bearded ladies and all the other stuff. And somebody was like, hey, Rick, you know, belly dancers are Turkish. And my response was, do you think Trump knows that? It's the Middle East. I watched Aladdin, Steve, and they had belly dancers in Aladdin.
A whole new world.
So I thought, why don't we put the beautiful belly dancers who are bearded in this too, like Aladdin, Arabian Nights.
Make bearded belly dancers great again.
The bearded belly dancers of Trump Gaza. Folks, the ethnic cleansing that would have to take place in order for this to happen is mind-boggling. And not anybody in our beautiful, amazing audience. The morons that are just clapping like seals, including the trad cats who don't even want to address this, is just ridiculous.
Here's Great Britain news.
Absolutely genius. Do you know why? What does every leader in that area not want? They don't want America to own Gaza. They don't want it. So Donald Trump is basically winding them up. He did it when he did that press conference with Netanyahu a few weeks ago. And he said, well, we're going to make it into the Middle East Riviera. That's what we're doing. Netanyahu's face dropped because he doesn't want that either. No. Jordan don't want it. No. Lebanon don't want it. Nobody in the Middle East wants this. This is basically Trump saying to them, sort it out yourselves or I'm going to come in and I'm going to own you.
And in the same video, you've got Elon Musk, you've got lots of money being lavished.
Enjoying hummus.
Yeah, but it's the huge golden statue of Trump. And the fact he's put it on his website is extraordinary.
But don't you think it's classic Trump, though? Because he's a deal maker, right? He's negotiating. Yeah. This is a negotiation. This is saying, if you don't sort it out, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come into your region. You lot, this is metaphorically banging their heads together. I think it's brilliant.
And remember, 2 million people live in Gaza. Gaza has been flattened because of the war. Some people think disproportionate, the Israeli response. We have to remember why the war started, because Hamas launched that shocking attack in Israel. But this is going to be so provocative, and he knows exactly what he's doing.
He does know exactly what he's doing. I think it's really clever. It will wind up all the right people.
Well, I heard the Defence Secretary being quizzed about this from John Healey. He was lost for words.
Well, he used that. I can believe it. But you see, they don't understand what Donald Trump. They're going to be lost for words because some people will look at this and go, "This is Donald Trump capitalising on tragedy in the Middle East. That's what he's going to do. He's going to make money for himself." I don't think it is that.
But also, they will say we've got Zelensky going to Washington on Friday. The deal on minerals will be done. So America will have access to these huge mineral fields in return for the money they've pumped into Ukraine to defend themselves against Russia and to continue to pay Russia. We shouldn't forget, and people say that's immoral, we only paid off our debts to America for the Second World War about 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, this is the thing.
They don't do it for nothing.
No, they don't do it for nothing. And actually, maybe, when wars are being started, everybody within there needs to consider what the long-term implications will be when America are involved.
And who's paying for it?
Oh, Trump, yeah. I mean, ma'am, do you want to take a breath to get your tongue off of his boot? Because I don't know how you could speak so clearly with your tongue so far up his boot, like, mate.
Dude, I thought when it first came out, I saw somebody write that they thought it was a troll, and it could be. It's a terrible, disgusting troll because, like you said, he's pretty much mocking the idea, which he's been talking about with his brother, with his son-in-law, who's a real estate guy. He's talked about. We played the video a couple of weeks ago about him saying, "Hey, we need to turn this into an exotic resorts and all this, the oceanfront property, and all this." And then we talked about the Jewish lady that gave him $100 million to basically do this, ethnic cleanse this area, get rid. And they, there's actually a map, like Greater Israel. They want to take it over, and for them just to come out and put this out there is just humanity saying sick. And yeah, you're right. And there's guys I still saw like I don't dislike the guy, Steve Ray. He's still out there going, "Oh, this is just Trump making the art of the deal." What chapter is ethnic cleansing in the art of the deal? Hey, we're going to put out this video where we destroy the land, put a Trump tower in there, put a Nebuchadnezzar statue of myself,
and I have little balloons of my head that are gold. They're gold, but they still float. That's how good they are.
There's some that talked about the song that was going on. I'm going, yeah, time out. 2
Trump
million dead, blowing up the whole place, and we put Las Vegas on top of that. And you notice the GB News guys that were talking about the minerals from Ukraine. That, hey, this is the next thing. Oh, look how moral we are. We're just taking the minerals. Taking minerals from Canada, wanting to get minerals from Greenland, minerals from Ukraine. We just want the land. We want just the real estate gobble up over in Israel, or for Gaza. I mean, great googly moogly. If that's not all we had, just because wrong button. When StreamYard added this image file thing, so I hit the wrong button every time.
Yeah. Yep.
Where is my boy Graham?
Where's Lindsey Graham? I'm right here. I'm a great Steve Cunningham personally voted for me 3 times, and that's why I'm your senator from South Carolina.
He's the guy. He lives in a different. When I was in South Carolina, lives in a different city.
Steve Cunningham and I are personally good friends, and we hang out every weekend. And I think Steve is my buddy.
Is going to have to make a decision here very soon about the Iran nuclear program. There are 2 paths to take. A military path where we help Israel deliver a decisive blow against Iran's nuclear infrastructure. I prefer that path. The second path is to negotiate with Iran to try to get them to abandon their nuclear ambitions. If that path is chosen, it needs to be limited in time. We should put it on the clock, and we should define what success looks like.
They can't wait to go after Iran. His money pot. He might be doing it, and he might be praying to McCain, like, "I'm doing this for the honor of John." Mr. Bomb Iran.
Yeah, it's just too terrible for any of that. And the fact is, we've got guys in our chat. I know G Money. Okay, I got to give it. AI is good for that, at least.
The Dancing Israelites. If anybody doesn't know that, it's 9/11. You had video of the Dancing Israelites. I think they might actually have this in there. Let's see. Yeah, there they are. They were just. Well, that's not actually the shirts.
That's not them. That's an AI recreation.
But there was a van just like that, and they were out there, and there was video of them dancing after the planes at the towers.
Yep.
So yeah, we got our own Dancing Israelites.
Well, I don't know what to tell anybody because it's really bad. I will say I do feel bad for Liz Wheeler because she is actually a Catholic and she has had some journalistic credibility. She worked for One American News. She did all that. And she just talk about being in the wrong place, wrong time. She just and somebody, I said it on my show, even though I messed it up. And this is their Al Capone moment. This is all Geraldo. Remember Geraldo and Al Capone? He was going to find all the stuff. And it was like 2 calendars and a pet, stuff. Every single one of these influencers, Jack Posobiec, he was one of them. There's Poso. That's the Poso picture. Uh-huh. They will all be attached to these binders forever. Because guess what, guys? You went along with it. Pam Law and Order Bunny messed up. She is the head of the DOJ, which means the FBI is under her purview. All of these things. And she's saying, oh, well, they hid it from me. Newsflash, you're the boss. They, if they're hiding stuff, you need to get on one of the 1,500 private planes that the U.S. owns, fly 2.5 hours to New York, and personally go get it if it's that important to you, not send an email. And so it's absolutely just the incompetence on display. We're talking about a supposed list that is filled with the most cruel and vile things that have happened to young women and just god awful things. And we got a bunch of morons who have Twitter followers. Jeremy from the Quartering highlighted this. Some random sports reporter girl has 94,000 followers. She got a binder too. If you happen to be in the White House today, they were just tossing them at everybody like it was pita bread. It was like, oh, I'm gonna take a binder and go. You take a binder and go.
Everybody gets a binder.
Yeah, they turned into Oprah. They were just raining them from men. Just raining them down.
You get a binder. You get a binder. Here, throw them. That homeless guy got a binder.
What do? I park cars. Guess what? You get a binder too. It doesn't even matter.
Anybody outside of the lamestream, quote unquote, fake conservative media saw this as something. People were posting up. Get ready for your nothing burger and a side of. I can't say the words.
You and I said nothing was going to happen from it.
Here's Dr. Simone Goddick. I think it was yesterday. He goes, the Epstein client list should have been published yesterday. Every single delay only fuels more speculation. If there's nothing to hide, why the secrecy? The people deserve to know. Until then, here are just a few totally unthinkable rumors that will keep spreading. One, the delay is because the list includes U.S. presidents, top intelligence officials, and key media moguls. The entire system would crumble overnight. It's kind of like the Franklin cover-up. If anybody doesn't know what that is, that frankly, you look it up, people were disappearing after they started looking into it. And that thing went all the way up to the top. I think that was during the Reagan administration, I think. Number two, blackmail operations are still active. Powerful figures aren't being exposed because they're still paying for silence or being forced to play along. Number three, I feel like David Letterman. Number three, some names are being erased before publication. Yeah, I'd like to see the redacted thing about that. How many blackouts are in this? The delay is just a cleanup operation, assuring only expendable people take the fall while the real power players stay untouched. Duh. Number four, a massive distraction is coming, whether it's war, financial collapse, or another crisis. Something will be used to make sure that the public forgets all about this list when it finally drops. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's common sense. The longer they stall, the worse it looks. And yes, something always happens after something like this. I mean, again, you saw the meme with what's his face from Chocolate Factory. Yeah, tell me why he didn't do this the first go around. It's just
right. I mean, it's all right though, because Patriots are now in control, ladies and gentlemen. We got it. We got the list. We're good to go. Everything's fine. Patriot MAGAs. Hey, good news, Steve. If you go on One American News Network or on Mike Lindell's program, you can actually get one of these binders signed by Trump in a gold-plated case for only $59.99. He'll send it to your house. Donald Trump, Epstein client binder, gold. And, don't worry. They'll make some money off of this too, because you know what? People will buy it because people are dumb. Zimbabwe, here we come, homie.
No, this is real. This is not fake. This is Joe Wilson, or Representative Joe Wilson, introducing legislation to direct the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to design a $250 bill for DJT.
Can Congress do anything except lick his boots? You got Lauren Boebert.
I don't need to do Clown Planet. You're living it daily.
Lauren Boebert's trying to get his face on Mount Rushmore. Marjorie Taylor Greene's trying to rename the Gulf of America to the Gulf of Trump. Paula Luna is trying to do whatever she can. Everybody's trying to do everything but actually do any kind of work. Any kind of actual, they don't do work anyway. But the fact of the matter is, it's just one of these, it's all god awful. And it's embarrassing that people are, hey, Steve, are you tired of all this winning that we're doing right now? We got so much winning going on. I can't even handle it. And outside of Doge right now, what would be that much different? You got your IVF bill. You would have gotten that under Kamala. Maybe
the Doge. Since you're great at just bringing up stuff that I have ready to go on. That's
why I'm the host, man.
Caroline, I wanted to ask about a federal judge yesterday was saying that they didn't know who the Doge administrator was and was asking the lawyer for the administration who it was, and the lawyer responded, "I don't know the answer to that. Can you tell us who the administrator of Doge is?"
Again, I've been asked and answered this question. Elon Musk is overseeing Doge. There are No, Elon Musk is a special government employee, which I've also been asked and have answered that question as well. There are career officials at Doge. There are political appointees at Doge. I'm not going to reveal the name of that individual from this podium. I'm happy to follow up and provide that to you. But we've been incredibly transparent about the way.
Wait a second. A nameless person. I just got told this is the most transparent administration in the history of administrations. No administration has been more transparent. This brings the parent to transparent. And she just says that. Well, I can't bring up the guy who's in charge of this. Who's the guy behind the curtain? It's Wizard of Oz guy.
You'll figure it out. Shut up. Shut up and look over here at the shiny stuffs that we're doing right now. Don't ask questions about that.
You have TDS. That's the main thing. Oh, you wanted Kamala, but I just want to know who's running this thing, because, like we brought up, this is kind of like a coup. This is the government takeover, and you're not going to find anybody more excited about getting rid of stuff. But wait a second, the FBI hasn't been gotten away with. The CIA is still there. What's gone away? What has been gone? What has been taken out? There's some. I guess
you fired a bunch of white women, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I saw that in local news. Some people got fired, and that's about it, right? I mean.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy. I'm very happy that a bunch of white women got, entitled white women get fired. But still, it's not like that's really doing much good for anything or anyone, because, like, you just said, I kind of said it too. There's not much of a difference right now, because you're going to get your war in the Middle East, just like you were going to get your war with Kamala and whoever was pulling her strings. And the only difference is you have this fleet of influencers, some of whom were at the White House today, to tell you that Trump has the plan and that it's 5D chess and that everything is fine, even when he's got this new plan to bring in more immigrants, Steve. We're going to bring in more immigrants, but they're going to pay for it. We're going to make sure they pay when they come in.
Well, they better than the guy doing the banjo when that's going on.
That is fantastic. But we're gonna, and of course the Trump sycophants thought that this new plan for Trump to bring in more immigrants was a great idea. They just have to pay $5 million or $5 billion, whatever the case may be. And it's a gold card, Steve. It's not a green card. It's a gold card.
Very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be
wealthy people who will then bring in a boatload of H1HB visas. So good job.
Successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. Never been done before or anything like this, but it's something that we're going to be putting out over the next, would you say 2 weeks, Howard? You want to say a couple of words about it?
2 weeks. It's unbelievable. It's never been done before. Nothing. It's the same stuff over again. Never been done before. Unbelievable. Never been done. Blah, blah,
greatest thing ever. It's going to put so much money in our pockets, and it's going to give us trillions of dollars, and then they're going to invest in America, and it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And
so the Chinese are going to be buying these gold things. They're going to come in. I love gold.
Yeah, I want to buy your gold card. I'll make it and get it to you. You sell it back to me. It's not real.
City walks.
You see, city walk go card. Yeah, the mass deportations aren't going. In fact, we're going to bring more people in.
Well, and with that, it's just like everything else. It's Ryan Christian of Last American Vagabond. His last show was entitled "Meme Wars," and that's exactly what you see. You see Trump putting a meme up. Elon putting the meme, retweeted. It's like they're talking to each other on the. You see the husband and wives on Twitter. They say, "I love you, man." Or Facebook, they reply back, "You're sitting on the couch together. You're still texting each other on Facebook or Twitter."
Yeah.
But they're doing the same thing. They put a tweet out, they retweet each other, they look at each other, and they say, "Oh, this is good." And the memes are just one words, 2 words, maybe like knuckles cracking is one that Elon put up. Or, we got to consider this, or, Trump coming out. Maybe they're spraying stuff in the sky. I wonder what that means. We have to look into that. Again, makes us go, hey, we got a radar up now. And then it goes in, hey, we're gonna just level Gaza and turn into a Vegas Junior type deal thing. I was like, wait a minute, would you do the same day? Would you drink? Step away for no more drugs for that man and a face off. But I mean, as Polly St. George talked about just this, I mean, all these guys on here, they're all Zionists. They're all rabid. Everyone in here. I don't know much about this. The group she's bringing up. She has a video down here explaining it. The red flags, the expanding narrative network on the what is it? The wellness company. But I'll check it out and watch it. I'll look at it. I'll see what the report back on that one. But I mean, the FBI guy that came in, everyone's loving Patel. Remember the first thing he said on Fox?
We'll shut off the machinery that feeds money into Iran. We will no longer have 100 hostages still in captivity, Israeli and American and otherwise, by Hamas and Iran's Hezbollah mercenary forces.
Hey, why is he talking about Israel? We got what's his face, Danny B, another Fox guy. What is it? Fox podcast. What he said?
What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel. The defense of Israel.
They're all freaking Zionists. It's a Zionist administration beyond belief. A Zionist. I mean, they make Zionism look like. The rabid Zionists, they make that look like kindergarten level Zionists. These guys, like, we're going to make, like Trump say, you're never going to see Zionism like I am going to be from now. I mean, the level of insanity that's coming out of the plate. And again, that's why he's up there, because the normal Joe is going to accept this junk. And you're going to see, like I was telling the guy at the gym, he goes, how do these people get in? We talk about this at the gym. I go, yeah, but they go home and watch Fox. And they get indoctrinated with this.
It's not just Fox. It's not just Fox. That Kash Patel has been on Timcast. Kash Patel has been on The Blaze. They've all made these rounds. Dan Bongino is the biggest show on Rumble by far. So they've infiltrated, quote unquote, new media. As I say, the Daily Wire is just Fox News for Gen Z and millennials. It's the same talking points dressed up a little differently. So all of these new medias that claimed Jack Poso, a favorite punching bag on this show. I mean, the guy who runs around with a rosary and then at the same time says, yeah, we should totally bomb Israel and that everything's fine and don't worry about that, but yeah, Catholicism, woo, and then, all these other kinds of things. So it's not just Fox News anymore, my man. It's everywhere. Outside of shows like ours, everybody else is towing the line because what is it? It's that Trump money. It's that Trump gala that's happening tomorrow night.
This did turn a lot of people. They go, "Hey man, time out. I didn't vote for that. This is kind of weird." I mean, there was a lot of that going on. But I mean, in the way the lady was right in the sense that Trump's a genius because he's a great marketer. And anybody in Marketing 101, as long as you're talking about it, your marketing is doing well. Bad publicity is good as good publicity. So he's getting some bad ones from a lot of people, but he's also getting good because the guys that are defending him are bringing, hey man, this is just this. It gives him an open door to talk about it. So in a way, he's not only trolling, he is getting people to talk about him 24/7. Everyone's in their mind. Hey, we're talking about him. Everyone's in their mind about it. I mean, but as long as it's still evil and they're still going to go through with it. I don't know when. I mean, was it 2 Saturdays ago? He was supposed to, by 12 o'clock Saturday, you better do it or I'm going to unleash hell. Nothing happened. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't come out and, the little people over there didn't put videos out. Hey, Trump, bro, where's my bomb? Come on down. Just starting to egg him on, talk a little smack to him a little bit.
Well, apparently the ceasefire is supposed to end Saturday or whatever the case is. And Israel's already said we ain't leaving. So
yeah, that ceasefire. I mean, Israel doesn't ignore the ceasefire.
That's all. Just reporting what they're saying.
Yeah. Israel ignores the ceasefire. If anybody else doesn't know, there was a report they killed 57 people after the ceasefire. And there's a video I just saw a little bit ago of some kid got 2 to the head while his dad comes over and is trying to pull him out. And doctors, even in the States, getting silence. Hey, we got to stop what's going on here. And you can't say anything about most favored nation. Hence the anti-Semitic bill coming through, which they say can throw anybody away for that. And that's what this mass deportation things. They again, we talked about slippery slope. You can't even go into a church called Sanctuary anymore. They said they're going to come into your churches, literally in the documents. We're going to come in and take you out. Who's that?
Yeah,
who's to stop you after all that? You got Gitmo down there. It can do this to anybody. It's still in a state of emergency. They still can take your rights away anytime they want, which they have been before. So this is, the
Patriot Act is still around.
Patriot Act still
the Patriot Act
around.
can be amended at any time, as they have. It's very nice how they pick and choose to make things. Remember Pam Law and Order Bunny Bondi at CPAC 2 weeks ago was talking about how people who are here on visas can't terrorize certain students. We all know which certain students she was talking about. And so it is absolutely the priority of this administration and the people that are in it to support the most favored nation and everything that goes with it. Now, does that mean that the U's run everything? No, but are we deferential to them? I see a little bit of it being deferential to them because you can't speak ill of them anywhere, or not even ill, or even question anything. Being like, hey, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird that don't do that. Don't you make that statement. So it is pretty interesting to watch all of that.
After what's his face got ordained, confirmed.
Who? Which one's that?
Here's Bibi himself. Congratulations, Kash Patel, on being confirmed as FBI director and Bongino for being deputy lead director. I look forward to working with you to further strengthen our cooperation in fighting against crime and international terrorism, and ensuring transparent government.
I mean, why do we joke that Canada is the 51st state? I mean, Israel really is the 51st state.
I think you and I know I have. I think Mike's talked about that. I'm sure Church has talked about that. I mean, isn't Israel being the 51st state? Joked about saying when the Raiders were going to move to Vegas, they're going to move to Israel.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll have an expansion team in Israel. Don't worry about that.
Well, if Trump Vegas shows up, they'll have
the Jerusalem Moseses or something like that, or remember Trump's biggest accomplishment. One of his biggest things was moving the embassy moving it to Jerusalem. That was, I think it's actually named like the Trump embassy or something like that. But that was one of their biggest things as well. And so, you get a little bit of stuff drip over here. And on the other hand, all of these other things are being put into place. Like Steve and I were telling you all throughout 2024, Trump is going to win because they're going to do whatever they want. And he's just going to sit back and he'll sign his executive orders and, everything will be great. Because what is it right now, Steve? The public is satiated with Trump in office. They are satiated to let them do whatever they want. Because what are we being distracted with? The Epstein list. What are we being distracted with? JFK. The Gulf of America, all of these stupid Mount Rushmore. We got to put Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. We got to get a $250 bill about Trump. We have all these stupid things. While in the meantime, the deep state is just continuing to deep state. I mean, that's what it is. Everybody celebrates USAID being shut down. Steve, where did USAID go?
The State Department.
Then it went even more into the State Department. So you wouldn't even know. Where it went.
Rubio's in charge of it.
They actually did. Doge did do something. They made it more efficient by putting it under the State Department now. Now you don't even have a record of it because it's all just State Department business.
Yeah, you got Deep State Rubio in charge of this thing now. Yeah.
He's little deep state, Marco. Okay, get it right.
And just in case I think we got a few new viewers right now. But hey, day 2, most people didn't know about this because they weren't following.
We were winning.
Yeah, we were winning. You're still in the
We had
honeymoon,
500
literally.
executive orders being signed, and so Trump did this.
We gene sequence. Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, and you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Yes, a cancer vaccine can apparently be made in just 48 hours, according to Larry Ellison. This is going to be one of the biggest hoodwinks of all time, and major alarm bells should be going off in your head. Because first off, A, why would they focus on selling you a miracle cure for cancer instead of just trying to prevent cancer?
So if you haven't seen that video,
because Joe Biden never cured cancer, so now we got to do the mRNA vax for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no vaccine cure for cancer anyways. But anyway, that was day 2, Operation Warp Speed 2.0, the AI jab, which went back to Obama. We played this, 2 weeks ago, last week, where Obama's State of the Union address gives us the idea that Brandon was going to take it over when Brandon was the VP. And then Brandon, when he was president, President Omer, he was in put $100 million, I'm sorry, into the funding of this. And then DJT on day 2, I mean, just the ink the swearing isn't even done yet, and he's putting out this. The first act he does is Warp Speed 2.0 before RFK even got in. And RFK had to close his mouth.
What is this? What is this? What are you doing, Trump? Hey, here's the RFK file. Okay, bye.
But here's Elon from 2023, April 12th. This will make some people upset, but we need to emphasize that accelerating synthetic mRNA tech was another silver lining. It was a revolution in medicine, like going from analog to digital. The Rona jab dosage level was too high, and having a zillion booster shots was idiotic, causing more harm than good, in my humble opinion. I'm throwing the H word in. But I am convinced that a synthetic mRNA is the best path for curing cancer, among other things. And here's one that came out the other day, because friends of mine asked me, Steve, what's wrong with technology? Apple has just announced a record for English-speaking people, $500 billion investment for the US of A. The reason, faith, that we know, without which barely. Somebody needs to work on his spelling. I mean, I'm not that good of a spelling, but come on. They wouldn't be investing 10 cents. Thank you, Tim Cook and Apple. Why is that important? What was the price tag that what Larry Ellison was giving and DJT was putting into this mRNA tech? $500 billion. This is the second investment at $500 billion. Could they not pick another number? There's something's fishy when you say $500 billion. Wow, it's the exact same number, but they're.
I like it, Steve. It's a nice round number. 500
That's
billion.
exact combination by luggage.
It just sounds so good. 500 billion. Trillion, too much. 200 billion, too little. 500 billion, perfect. That's what it is.
Safe.
Even if it never. Also, if you think about the Apple one, real quick, it's funny because if you look into it, it's 4 years, over 4 years, which means when Trump's gone in 2028, they'd be like, see ya. They could just leave again when, President AOC shows up and she's like, okay, you can go back to China now. And they're just going to leave. So nobody like, $500 billion. Yeah, over 4 years, which means they're going to slow roll it and then they're just going to leave again. So.
And then, it's just like the $5,000 checks that they want to give. We talked about last week is, hey, remember the Rona stem? That's just, hey, we're going to buy you off by $5,000 each. Buy you off. We're not closing the IRS like we told you we might. You're
not getting that $5,000. You're getting $2,500 if you're lucky.
Yeah. Here's a buy off before we CBDC you to death.
Everybody is vaccinated.
Are you vaccinated? If I
yes.
may ask.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very pro-vaccination. Yeah. I believe the science is unequivocal.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains?
Neuralink.
And I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants. Just think of sensors planted into our brains.
Basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there, You put the electrode, you'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain.
It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you if you take a genetic editing. It's a fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological world. That's really the essence of the fourth industrial revolution.
A merger with biological intelligence and machine intelligence.
An effort for man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat machines, you basically have to merge with machines.
Most likely, yes.
As work is changing, is a universal basic income really a solution to this problem?
I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary.
Decarbonization of the economy.
Where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
I mean, my top recommendation, honestly, would be just to have a carbon tax.
This global reset is necessary.
By the way, Elon Musk is not changing any of his opinions on any of those things. Everybody thinks he's a Republican now. We're just understanding this. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Donald Trump, and Elon Musk, all in huge positions of authority, are liberals. They just decided to go with the winning team on this one. And so, all of their opinions have not changed. Elon Musk is still Neuralink. He's still Cybertruck. He's got the Cyber Taxi coming out, which is going to help the 15-minute cities. And I've said it before in this, so anybody that's new, Elon Musk has the largest access to AI data of any person. It's not Klaus Schwab. It's not Twitter is the largest LLM language learning model on the planet. They've got Grok 3, which, all fairness, I use it to do my YouTube descriptions because I'm lazy. But, that AI, plus he's got 10 plus years of Tesla AI data. And then he's got whatever else he's got with the Boring Company and Neuralink and all that other. He has the largest amount of AI on the planet. And he is going to be the one, because he's now cool with Trump. He's going to shepherd all this in, and the MAGA folks are going to wave the flags and be the first ones to sign up. Because then, Steve, if you're one of the first 1,000 to sign up for Neuralink, you can get your Neuralink with a Trump ticket, with a Trump stamp on it.
Well, just so it's fresh in everybody's mind, you heard that little montage right there. Remember the guy saying, we'll track you and all this? This is from 2019.
We'll finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. We will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
So that's why I keep going. We're going to have a digital ID by the end of this year.
Yeah, maybe not by the end of this. By the time Trump leaves, we will definitely have one.
Oh, that's a safe bet. I'll take that action.
I mean, I don't know if it's capable of being done this year. I think maybe mid 2026, maybe after the midterms. So, because after the midterms, Trump has nothing to lose at that point. And so that kind of stuff. Or, Steve, maybe you're right, because he'll weave it into immigration. And so that's how he'll get it done. And MAGAs will just be like, okay, that's good. Yeah, for immigration. Yeah, I'll totally get it. So
that's the whole purpose of the, what was it? The smart ID from last year.
What was it? The smart, the smart ID or whatever for licenses.
Yeah,
I know in Europe they have something like that now too. If you travel there, you have to get like an extra thing for your passport.
Well, yeah, with that too, you get in North Carolina, you have to have it to fly unless you have a passport now. But it depends on what state you are. You have to either have that the real ID.
Real ID. That's it. Thank you. Hi ho, here's your digital tracking device. Yay! Kermit the Frog's gonna be on.
Cry.
What?
You laugh, not to cry.
Yeah, right. That's. I mean, guys, it's gonna come either way. Put your trust in the baby infant Jesus and our Lord and Savior and the Holy Mother and the Holy Family. That's it.
It's not just DJ though.
What? No,
it's not just DJ.
ideas that are just becoming crystallized, weighted and nurtured in laboratories and scientific centers, but very soon, and I have no doubt about it, these ideas will reshape the world.
They're all in on it. That's
because they're all immune to it. They're not going to be dealing with it.
It's the elite. It's the ruling class. So
yeah, just like during the shot, they all got vitamin B shots. They all got vitamin C shots. None of them, not any single person in authority or power got a COVID shot. None of them. There's an actress, and you guys, there's nobody in this audience will know. Her name was Michelle Trachtenberg. She was on Buffy, and she was on a bunch of shows in the late 2000s. She's 39 years old, and she's dead. And she was a big, I'm not saying it's linked. I'm just saying she's 39 and she's gone. And she was a big masker and vaxxer and all these other kinds of things. So it's one of these things where the people in authority won't have the chips. They will be able to fly. Another thing, and I've been shouting you out, Steve. All of the problems with airline travel right now are designed to be like that, because what's going to happen in 2030?
In 2050, they don't want anybody flying. 2030,
I'm sorry, Steve. I set you up incorrectly.
Yeah, 2035, they're downgraded. I got to get that. I pulled that PDF. I got so many links up right now. It'll probably kill the computer.
But I know you've mentioned it in the past that they are phasing out airline travel, and it's working, because right now people are like, I don't want to fly because of all the supposed problems that are happening on airlines right now. And this is an easy way to get people. I did it. I drove to North Carolina. Of course, I've been saying that for months before that happened anyway. But the fact of the matter is, they are convincing people to not travel because of all the problems that are happening with airlines and the DEI and the fact that they have women pilots and all these other kinds of things, and all these seemingly crazy crashes that, by the way, it's not abnormal. If you look at the numbers, the amount of crashes in 2021 and 2022 and all these other places, they're just hyping you up right now. Every time there's a plane crash, if it's a little one, if there's a near miss, if there's one in Alaska, which, by the way, in Alaska, they lose planes all the time because it's Alaska. But everything, they're highlighting it, and they're hyping you up to not want to travel because that's part of the long-term agenda. They're getting ready with the Tesla cyber taxis, which are going to be out in major cities probably by 2026. Elon's rolling those out. The Autobots, or whatever Elon calls it. You have the Autobots. You have 7 or 8 or 9.
Founded.
There it is. Thank you. So,
in case anybody was skeptical, here's 2020, 2029. All airports in Heathrow, Glasgow, Belfast closed, with except those 3. Closed transfers by rail. 2030, 2049, all remaining airports closed. That's it. Shipping declines to 0. Further growth, rail, 0. All new electrics, average size cars reduces to 1,000 kilograms. Food, beef and lamb phased out, along with imports not transported by train. Fertilizer use greatly reduced. I mean, all this, and then fossil fuels completely phased out. It's absolute 0. Here's the PDF is literally called absolute 0.
Yep.
Mentioned, if you paid any attention to any of the clown planets, I've probably talked about that ad nauseum back in 2020, 2021.
And remember, they tried to do this with what? The Green New Deal. They tried to drop it all at once like a bunch of idiots. And we went, that's not going to happen. Then they said, okay, we're just going to have to slow roll this out because people aren't ready for it. Much like Captain America's the Winter Soldier. You can't do it all at once. You got to make people not want to do it. You got to make people not want to fly. You got to make people want to get the jab. You got to make people want to buy Teslas. You got to make people want to get the AI. You're going to want to make people get your, servant robot.
Yeah.
What?
You got to force them into it.
You can't force them into it. They have to want to do it. They have to want to do it. And Trump is the key to that, because Trump is the Pied Piper for an entire movement of people. If he recommends it, or Donald Trump Jr. recommends it, people are more willing to, because they think he's an outsider, to do it. So it's just very interesting for that. Now, I'm not gonna lie. If I could find one of Tesla's Autobots or whatever to clean my house and do my laundry, I think I'd give up my sovereignty for that.
Rocky had a robot made in Rocky 3. That was back in the 80s. So he was before. He was a trendsetter at the time.
That's true. That is true.
On the plus side, states are acting like states again.
I was trying to set you up, but Steve is in his glory right now. Every time I send one of these, he's just like, yes, more.
We'll start small and get into the spicy ones after. But here's Ron DeSantis the other day.
To higher taxes, such as higher property taxes, to pay for these spending habits. And these property taxes, it's like you buy a home. You buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead exemption is not strong enough to help these folks, because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and there's certain tax, well, then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000. And so, and they say, there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more.
So they're talking about they're looking into doing that. They don't have income tax, state income tax.
You go finish.
They don't have state income tax. They're looking to ban fluoride in the water. They're looking to ban chemtrails in the sky. I'm definitely, if I could ever afford to buy a home and move, I'm seriously considering Florida. I was born in St. Lucie, so it wouldn't be that Stewart to be exact, but that would be fantastic to go back. Easier gardening.
I mean, they need to not let him go. They need to amend the Constitution to just let him be governor forever.
I think it is. If somebody from Florida wants to bring that up, let me know. Let us know. I think his wife is considering a run.
She is, and Trump endorsed Byron Donald instead because Trump hates DeSantis. I actually think that's going to be a dogfight. I don't think that's going to be as easy. I think that DeSantis' name is so popular in that state. I think she could win straight up against Donald.
The people that are leaving aren't the ones that are liking what's going on right there. The people staying like what's going on. The people leaving are upset about it, or aren't Floridians, aren't Southerners.
Yeah.
And remember, DJ, that family is not a Southern family. They're New Yorkers that came down to buy a part of Florida. They're not going to be wanting to be ran by somebody from New York in there.
Yeah, and so I really think that Trump is setting himself up for some failure in the governor races because he backed Vivek in Ohio. I don't think that's going to fly, and I think they're really underestimating DeSantis's strength in that state. They just, literally, it's like vote for my wife because I'm going to be in the governor's office too, and they're going to be like,
I'll be there for another 8 years.
So we can get another 8 years of DeSantis, sure, instead of Byron Donald. No offense to Byron Donald. No offense to him, but it's like that's a real tough out to try and like match up against DeSantis. So,
and yes, DeSantis is pro-Israel. We know that.
Yes,
they all are. There's except for Bernie and Massey. That's it. Outside of that, they're all in it.
And Massey should not run for Mitch McConnell's seat. Massey, he said, "Should I stay in my spot, run for Senate, or be governor?" And I'm like, "Be the governor of you and your ideas. You need to be the governor of Kentucky." Mm-hmm. He would do so much better as the governor of Kentucky than a senator. And that's it's just one of these things that is not something that I would get behind because he would just be lost in the Senate. You need somebody like him as your governor. We need strong governors right now because folks, it's either going to be the 15-minute city blobs or we're going to break apart because you saw what's happening in Florida. And as predicted, liberal states are starting to get really angry with Trump and they're starting to exhibit the thing called federalism. Federalism is cool again now because Trump is in office. We saw it last week. We didn't talk about it, but
we talked about it a little bit.
Did we talk about we didn't talk about the main thing.
Yeah, we played it and we talked about it.
Oh, well, yeah, you had the main thing, where it's like, that's fantastic. That is the best example of federalism. That's right. You said, because let the people in Maine be Maine. Yeah, let the people in Maine be Maine. Let them push it. Today, Hateful Kate of New York is like, I'm not giving up my tolls. You can do whatever you want. I'm not giving it up. I don't care. So that's great. I don't like Kate Hochul, but if she's going to push for federalism, I'm all for it. I am all for it in every single way, shape, or form.
I guarantee 99%, 95 maybe. We'll say a few on here. Now, no offense to people watching. I guarantee most of them are knee-jerk emotion reaction to that, because what's the problem is Trump. Do I have the video?
Yeah.
I don't think I think I deleted it.
Of what? Which one?
Of him going after the Maine governor.
I think you have it right there. It's set up. I see it. It's
Where?
Trump voting. Isn't that?
No, that's him. Here's what this is.
Thing I just before we leave, I think you should do this. For my safety and security and for the good of our nation, you should do it anyway, regardless, even if it costs 10 times more. But it actually costs you just a tiny fraction. If you went to paper ballots and you're voting, and I would hope that every Republican would. So it costs exactly 8% of what the machines cost. These machines, they got something going. They get business. It's amazing. So paper ballots and paper. The
NCAA
has complained. It's called watermark. It's impossible.
So he's talking about voting. He wants to control the voting. Here's the 10th Amendment Center, which you don't know the 10th Amendment Center. Follow them. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. They're fantastic on this. So it help educate you out of this nonsense, what's going on. Because they're getting blasted by Trump fans. But we don't have to worry about this anymore. It's all good. We got our man in. As he said, based on this clip, we only heard should, not need to. And they quote Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1, the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by a legislator thereof. But the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the places of choosing senators. Well, the Constitution is clear. The executive wouldn't have any say in this matter one way or the other. So from this clip, it seems that no effort to overstep the Constitution on this issue is being pushed. But the thing is somebody was here with someone. Trump just told every governor in the U.S. that they need to switch to paper ballots, same-day voting, voter IDs, and proof of citizenships, which, again, that's what the 10th Amendment Center is saying. He has no authority to do, which going back to 2020, there was they brought up when Pennsylvania and Georgia were wanting to do something with their voting. And a lot of people were saying, no, we got to nationalize this. Nope. You have no authority. They have no authority. States control whatever they want to do, no matter if you like it or not. If you don't like that state, go to another state.
So this is it.
But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Not here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy.
And of course,
rules in his favor.
Yeah.
None of us. I don't think Rick. I think I can speak for Rick. He's not for men playing in female sports.
No, unless you let me do it, and I'll go make some of that sweet WNBA money. But you know, I got a leg brace. I can probably. I mean, the ball is tinier and the 3-point line is small.
You can probably hit a layup better than.
If Angel Reese can get a McDonald's deal by not making layups, I'm gonna be like the Burger King. Just smoking 3-pointers all day. I mean, Caitlin Clark might, break my ankles, but everybody else, I'll absolutely smoke them. Don't even.
The thing is, we are not for guys playing in girls' sports.
No.
But if Maine wants to do it, that's a Maine problem. That is not.
Guess what? The other day, the Maine legislature censored a rep who was trying to get males banned from female sports. Their legislature is behind it. Mm-hmm. So let them do that. Florida can outlaw it. Texas can outlaw it. South Carolina can outlaw it. Let them do it.
Yeah.
So
Because the opposite happens. Remember a couple, 8 years, 9, 12, 10 years ago, North Carolina, there was the bathroom bill.
Yep.
North Carolina was standing strong against it. I don't remember a lot of people backing them up. They had boycotts all over the place, and they eventually caved because the entire land was going after them.
It was that, and then once the corporation stepped in, they all threatened that they were going to leave, which the governor should have called the bluff. I would have been like, you know how much money it's going to cost you to leave? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, federalism works if you don't like it, or if you like it. It's where you. If you don't like it, you move to another state. If the entire land, if the entire federal republic, it has this one nation Ingalls idea. If that's one thing, one size fits all, where are you going to move to after that? You got nowhere to go. You're under it's a communistic idea. Hence why Marx and Engels loved one nation. We love this one nation idea. The 48ers came over. The revolutions of 1848 came over, and they got into Northern Army. Garibaldi wanted to control the Union Army. Lincoln was begging him to do that. Anyways, they get in control of that. The Red Republicans, the Communist Republicans at that time. That's not saying the Democrats of then are the same as now. Not at all. They were the Southern Conservatives then. Now that same party isn't that same party back then. So you got to make that clear, because people are going, oh well, that video going around saying that the illegals won't be able to pick how you're going to eat if there's no food on the table from the illegal. Ain't the same thing what they're talking about. They're trying to make that way, because the same team that won back then is the same mindset today. So, I mean, where I was going with that is this. Also, North Dakota and Ohio houses have passed resolutions calling on the Supreme Court to strike down Obergefell versus Hodges and overturn gay marriage. Michigan and South Dakota have introduced similar legislation. Idaho has also, we played that video of that one legislator. She's actually asking Idaho to do it. Now, the short version is all you have to do is say, we nullify, done. But no one has the guts. No state has the guts to do it. Now,
unless you're talking about like marijuana in California, who was like, yeah, whatever, we don't care.
Yeah. It was Abbeville Institute had a video out called yesterday. It was their monthly lecture on make states being states again. There was a dude from oh shoot, I can't think of the group's name. Anyways, he brings up the idea. So this is just like when you're at a test and people are done, but they're too scared to get up. And you get that one guy that gets up, that one doesn't go. And then afterwards, 20 people immediately jump in afterwards. They're not all done at the same time. They were just too scared to get up. So if one state actually got up and did it, others would follow. And again, and that's the great thing about 10th Amendment. So I know someone says they're a fraud. Dude, whatever, man. You can't watch those things and say they're frauds. Everything's backed up, and they've been doing great work for as long as I can remember. If they're doing something shady on the books, I don't know, but the information they're posting is fantastic on this. So they'll bring up, like, look at the nullification thing. They'll bring up quotes talking about if you're a state and you see an unconstitutional thing and let it go by, you're a criminal. It's a criminal act. And yet we got these states, Roe, Obergefell, all these unconstitutional things. They just sat back and let it happen. All this nonsense is over if you embrace federalism again. Again, sure, yes, was it dead after Appomattox? That we let it happen, that there's nothing to say that we can't go back to that way, but it just takes people to do it. Education and being a mindset and getting the right people in office.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing, that's perfectly said. We have this thing called federalism, and everybody kind of chuckles when you say it, but it can still work. Mm-hmm. And, seceding may not be a great option, but guess what? Federalism is a great option. It's built in to the U.S. It's actually the model of this Constitution that everybody supposedly loves. That's what the 10th Amendment is for. The 10th Amendment is supposed to strike down sodomite marriage. The 10th Amendment is supposed to strike down unconstitutional gun laws. The 10th Amendment is supposed to strike down abortion nationwide. All of these things that we hold dear as Catholics, we should be hugging the 10th Amendment at every turn. But we're too busy because too many of these organizations, and I know I seem like I bang on them all the time, but LifeSite and Catholic Vote, guys, they're NGOs, and these NGOs, they're no better than the USAID NGOs because they need the federal government to prosper. If abortion goes off the table nationwide, Leela Rose She does great work, but Leela Rose has to get a new job if abortion becomes outlawed everywhere. It's that simple.
If those guys start speaking like we are on this, talking about nullificating and all this, it'd be over. They get so many followers. So even secular people follow LifeSite News.
Yeah.
They start talking like this. That's a solution that can be done now. That the whole 50 years, we have to have a march. Done. All you have to do is get people in the right positions and say, this is done. We're not doing this. Done. The federal government has no authority to a state when that happens. Done. But we got this whole thing. Oh, we got it's the Lincoln idea that he created a union. It's bull.
What is it? The federal law supersedes state law idea, whatever it is.
It comes from the 14th,
right? The magical 14th Amendment.
Supremacy clause. Everything.
Supremacy
clause. You used to hear that ad nod. Oh, DC says no. If the court says so, no. Is this unconstitutional or not?
Steve, 35 or 45 states have a defensive marriage law on the books stating marriage is between one man and one woman. So when Obergefell came down, they could have easily said, that's cool. But in this state, which was passed by our legislature and signed by our governor, marriage is only between, the federal, I don't give a rip what the federal government says, because here in this state, because if Israel, as Steve has said earlier in the show, if Israel is a state, then Texas is a state in the same manner. And so is Florida. And so is South Carolina. And in the state of Florida, we have a Second Amendment, which is Article 1, Section 25, which is the right to keep and bear arms. So we should be able to have SBRs and suppressors and everything else that the federal government says we can't have, which is unconstitutional and completely illegal. And anybody that wants to be a same sodomite marriage, sorry, you can't do it here in Texas, because we have a law that says marriage is defined by one man and one woman. Crotchety Elder's correct. Every time they put sodomite marriage on a ballot anywhere, it loses. Even in California, it lost. The only reason, and this is why I laugh when people are like, well, this, that, and the other thing. People think that sodomite marriage came in overnight. It was a 15-year struggle on their part. They didn't give up every time they lost a court case. They went back and they continued to push it, and they continued to push it until they got their way. And it's pathetic, because we have whatever you want to talk about our current federal government, the way the initial federal government was set up was perfect, because Texas is its own state and California is its own state. Whatever California wants to do, I don't care. But here in Texas, we do things differently. That was supposed to be the way things are. But it's not, because, as Steve rightly put, after Lincoln invaded a sovereign country, killed 500,000 people, and forced them back in. And if you guys think I'm nuts, the South seceded just like the colonies did on the 4th of July. The South set up its own government, created its own constitution, and elected a president. Most people would say that's a country. We would say that's a country based on how we celebrate the 4th of July. And yet people say, oh, well, the South is this, that. And the South was completely sovereign and completely on its own. It had its own currency, everything. And Lincoln invaded a sovereign country and forced it back into the Union by force. The 14th Amendment, I know people are going to get mad at this, was not voted on in Texas. They said you have to accept it or else you're not coming back in. And guess what? You're coming back in. So it's and people don't want to hear it when it's talked about like that, because the myth of the Civil War, and there's this lady on Twitter who's completely she's dunking on people every single day about the South. I think I followed her just recently. She's probably gonna be my saint of the week, because she's doing the Lord's work. Because she's this black woman who's got 2 or 3 degrees. And she just, anytime somebody's like, oh, it's about this, she's like, oh, really? And she just smokes them with facts day after day after day. And people are so enamored, Steve, with the idea of this nation because of the NFL and the flyovers and the military and all this other stuff and the flag. And I get it, but at the same time, it's not the right way this union was supposed to be set up. This is not how it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry if that makes people mad.
The communist one. If you get the book, Jeb Smith. It's under the alias of Isaac Bishop. He's a Vermonter convert. So Northerner wrote this. And it's called Defense of Dixie's Land. And he brings up evidence that obviously, the communists, took over and won. I mean, that was the whole thing. Engels and Marx, you read their letters. I mean, even Adolf, people thought it was Abraham reincarnate. That was a quote from them. Germany was 6, 8, 9 states after 220 count down to 110, and then even more consolidated because you have to have a consolidated, federal, strong, centralized entity. France, Italy. People joke about Italy. That was what happened. The North invaded Israel, forced them to unification of Italy. And people don't like that, but they liked it when it happened over here. And that's what happened. The communists won. They said the quote was, the South is fighting against communists, socialists, and atheists. And it's the Christians fighting against that. And today they are just brutal. Just you can't say you're a Southerner because I was driving an Uber one time in Denver, and someone goes, "I bet you own slaves." Just comments like that, just totally ignorant, emotional stuff. But I mean, to get into, trust me, I'm going to do a podcast with Jeb on this. He's having a molar pregnancy, a molar extraction in his teeth. He's got a root canal, so we had to delay it. But yeah, man, it's really easy to figure it out. Nobody wants to do it because you have to USA. We have to have the Olympic team go over there. And again, you watch the Olympics. If you live in
most of the time, it's people from Texas. Most of the time, it's a lot of Texans that are representing the U.S.
Yeah, that's
the thing. Then
it's
a bunch of people from Massachusetts and Minnesota. But
I saw that, all right, there's a Texan. I'm going, I don't care. Just sorry.
Like, as much as I don't like her, Simone Biles would be the greatest Texas Olympian ever.
Yeah,
because all of those medals
are terrific for Texas. It dilutes everything. Now you have nothing in common with someone in California. Like anybody is in the chat. If you're from Vermont, whatever, Georgia, you don't have anything in common with Oregon. You may have the faith in common, but so do you with Ireland, Italy, France, Australians. So it doesn't matter that part on that for unity because a nation, there's a lot more to it than nation. It's not just one thing where you have a centralized government. It's the customs, the people, the language. We don't speak down here a language that's familiar with the Northeast. We don't have the customs of people on the West Coast. All that's food, everything like that. In the South, we love flowers. Agrarian type deal. In the Northeast, they love, busy. We're going to run you over when you walk to work. They don't care about that stuff. Their trees are skyscrapers. Obviously, not all of them because you got outside New York City. By the way, did you see that Indiana and Illinois, there's parts of Illinois wants to break off and join Indiana, just like Western Oregon is trying to break up and go into Idaho. And they were trying to leave Chicago, which a lot of people are going, why don't you just let Chicago become a city state?
I mean, we should go back to the city-state model anyway. Anyway, real quick, this is the lady on Twitter. She's an absolute gold mine to follow. She dunks on people all the time. Lincolnites about the African black, blah, blah. She dunks on people all the time about the Southern myths. So if you're on X and you want a good follow, she is fantastic. I can't pronounce that name, but she is awesome. She is absolutely worth a follow on X. So she's my favorite
topic. You see that Elon started it, but you see even Bannon doing this.
The only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight.
What a loser. He's such a loser.
I'm wondering, is that more the Bellamy salute?
I mean,
because everyone has to bring up the Nazis. I'm going further. Is that because that was the original salute, the Bellamy salute. And if you read Bellamy on it, his brother, which is a big time socialist, it was the second bookseller behind Engels and Marx, was his brother. I forget his first name. Francis was the author of the Pledge of Allegiance. Anyway, Edward Bellamy, he is the second one. So Francis writes the pledge, and the whole thing is about one nation and centralized authority, all this stuff. And so I wonder if they're going back to that, because after a while you're going, okay, the joke's over. You guys are going to keep doing that. So what is the deal with this? And I don't know. It just made me want to, because they're going to say, oh, it's not Nazi. Okay. Then it's the Bellamy. or you're going to keep going with this. So pick one. Which one is it? And if it is, then you're literally talking about guys that are doing socialist stuff under the guise of being conservative. And again, which isn't outside the realm of possibility, because Bannon's pro-centralized, strong centralized government. He's not out there saying states' rights.
Bannon is essentially Alexander Hamilton 2.0. He is looking for a monarch that he can worship. That's exactly what he's doing. He's looking for a guy in power that can put him and get him. Because remember, and if you ever listen to Mike Church, you know this, Bannon is a nobody unless he gets onto Sirius XM and starts kissing Trump's butt. And that's how he weasels his way into that position. The guy is not a genius. The guy is not some savant. He's just a bootlicker that he dresses like a homeless man, even though he's worth more money than I am, Steve and I combined. Yet he wants to try and dress like a dumber version of John Fetterman. At least Fetterman's an idiot, so we know that. Steve is supposedly this genius, but dresses like a homeless man. And it just looks stupid, and it's inauthentic, and it's just absolutely ridiculous to watch him go around there and just preach these communist big government ideas. So
yeah. There's something, I don't know, something weird with it.
But what else we got?
That's really him. Outside there was it the German chancellor, new German chancellor got applauded by DJT, and then got.
You mean is that the lesbian Zionist?
No, he's a WEF. He's a WEF guy. And
no, it's not. No, the AFD party was the lesbian, whatever. Okay, so not. I got it.
Yeah, here's Bernie right here. The lady named Bernie. Here's a tag. Globalists win again. That new Chancellor Friedrich Merz is their perfect pick. Ex-chairman of BlackRock Germany, dedicated deeper EU integration. Member of the WEF's board of trustees. Regular attendee at the WEF in Davos. Attended Bilderberg Group meetings. Supported Rona passports. Wanted restrictions for the unvaxxed. Advocated for digital ID in Germany. Supported EU-wide asylum policies. Supports carbon trading markets. Okay, so good luck, Germany. And here's DJT. It looks like Conservative Party in Germany has won.
Yeah. Yeah. Meet the new boss. Same as the old boss in that regard. So, yeah, it's, I
guess just to finish a couple things. There's power outages in Chile. Remember, kind of brings up the cyber polygon in a sense. Marshall put out a great post on Catholic dioceses and eparchies in the United States, because he's done it before. Years ago he did it, and it's a great post when he does this. There are 227 Catholic dioceses in Italy. The American diocese structure is broken. Bishops should not be CEOs of a million mega dioceses. A bishop should pretend that pastoral care over 500,000 souls. Now, again, the state of Alabama has 3 million people in it. At the time of the founding, the entire 13 colonies did not have 3 million people in it. So again, this is a decentralization post. Hey, you look at 227 dioceses in Italy. What does that mean? It means Italy is decentralized in the diocese. So North Carolina
Steve, you would lose your mind if you looked at the diocese map here in Texas. I've already said Austin extends to Waco, and I think all the way out to College Station.
Yeah.
It's massive, this diocese, and it should be at least two other dioceses of its own.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't
Waco should have its own diocese, but the fact is, it's looped in. I mean, DFW used to all be under Dallas until like the 50s, and then Fort Worth got its own diocese. So
yeah, the more dioceses, the better, because then the bishop could be able to go and be able to, run and go visit, instead of having to, run out of gas every other day and plan a trip for out a week to go at the furthest west, like back in Colorado when the first bishop there had to go all the way down to New Mexico, and it was always stretched all the way into California. I mean, this isn't that time anymore. And then on top of that, if you do decentralize more, you probably won't get too many more bad bishops. You run out of them because they're all either dying, dead.
Well, I mean, at that point, if you're going to add that many, some of them have to be good.
Yeah, you're going to get some good ones
by default.
Little pepper. Little pepper.
Just by default of it, man. Just, the more you
Well, here's a this was a good one. I thought Catholics felt monarchy is better than constitutional republics or democracy. Yes, and there's evidence. Again, get that book by Jeb. In the last one, the second or third to last chapter, he brings up evidence that the South was moving to a decentralized monarchy, and the North did not like that at all. Because again, it was from a Christian perspective down south. There's evidence of people reading Thomas Aquinas. There's evidence of the invitation of Christ being in many people's homes. They embraced Catholicism. They weren't all Catholics. We were the minority, but they embraced the ideas that we were having in there. Again, you look at and Jeb makes this argument for it. You look at their lifestyle and what they were doing. It was a lot of Catholic thought that went into what they were doing in the South. In life and how they were living, they treated women, all this, the way they dressed, all the whole 9 yards. So they were talking evidence of that there was going to be it was going to be a monarchy, a decentralized one. Georgia came out back in 1861 and proclaimed itself a Christian nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. It was in their 1861 state constitution. There's a lot of states even today still have God and Christ in their state constitution. You want a monarchy? Decentralization is the way to do it, and you can do it anyway. And then decentralize the states. Say you're in Texas. I think even the Texas Constitution talks about being broken up in 5 states. Why not?
We have the option of it.
Yeah, why not more? Say there's a bunch of Catholics. I don't know, just picking a state in Corpus Christi. They break away from Texas. They create a monarchy, the monarchy of Corpus Christi. Fine. By the way, the Republic isn't terrible either. You got Garcia Moreno out in Ecuador. He was the first he was the president down there. So it doesn't just, if you have a republic, if you have a monarchy, you have to have good people in either position, and they have to have virtuous people to live with too. You can't just be like, you know what, I'm going to throw a guy up, call it a monarchy, and be done with it. There's a lot more to work that has to go into it.
Agreed. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a good post by Marshall, because it does bring that back to focus, and the fact that the bishop is that it's not the USCCB, it's the individual bishops that are running their diocese, and they're the ones to be doing that. So, that hierarchy is the correct form. And yes, I would really, really enjoy having a King St. Louis IX as my monarch, or King Baldwin, right? I would be more than happy to have one of those running things than any of the other options that have been given at this time. So yeah. All right, so State of the week. Ooh, excuse me. And crime room time. Ooh, I think I'm ready to escape. Look at me. I'm an old man.
I'll go crime room. All the Pope death count people. They had the timer every 5 seconds.
The death clock Pope.
Death clock. I remember when everything started, I texted some friends of mine saying, he's not going to die. It's a very what he had was a very recoverable thing, even with a bad lung. I mean, he could have you could probably give him a bunch of garlic and onions and soup, miso soup and garlic and onion soup, and be able to get out of that pretty good, depending on severity. But I didn't think he was on his deathbed, one. And then everyone they already had the conclave going in some places. People were making videos about it. Yes, it was good to pray for him, of course, but people already had him sized up for the coffin at the time. And apparently, just as I saw a minute ago, 8 hours ago, condition continues to show improvement today. Today is alternated high flow oxygen therapy with a venom mask. Given a complex critical condition, further days of clinical stability are required. Now, I mean, who knows? They might end up saying it was a miraculous thing and canonize him while he's walking. I don't know. I'm just saying I didn't think he was we should have pumped the brakes on this instead of making it getting ready for the next Pope already. But saint of the day, not canonizing the guy, but Requiescat in pace to Gene Hackman, tremendous actor.
What's your favorite Hackman film?
I mean, man,
there's a lot. I haven't seen, but I'll give you mine. Let me know just off the top. Like it doesn't have to be it's got to be the French Connection. Just the one you enjoy. Hoosiers, yeah, it's a pretty good point.
I mean, when he was Lex Luthor and Superman, it was fantastic. I mean, Behind Enemy Lines, he was great. I mean, Bat 21. Dad, I remember Dad loved that movie because it was a golfing one in Vietnam.
Enemy of the State, fantastic.
Enemy of the State, yeah.
The Replacements.
Oh yeah,
Coach McGinty, man, you gotta have heart.
Yeah,
gotta have heart. That's one of my favorites. Unforgiven, and of course, Crimson Tide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were all. I mean, to say there's a bad Hackman
it's
movie,
hard. He's one of those guys that, you know, he was rarely in a bad film.
Yeah,
because his presence alone made the film better.
I don't think he would accept the snakes on a plane.
No. I don't think he had a
Mississippi Burning. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Yep. No, you could literally say Bridge Too Far, right? You know, he was in A Bridge Too Far. He was in Unforgiven. I think somebody already said that.
You did.
You know, I did. So obviously, but you know, all of these films he was in were fantastic. So it's just it's a sad thing, and the things that are coming out about it are even weirder. So we won't get into it.
Yeah, I wasn't diving in anything. Oh yeah, The Firm. Forgot about him being in The Firm.
Yep, he was in The Firm. Yep, he was in a bunch of good stuff. So I mean, everybody, you can pick a film, and it easily, you can't be like, oh, he wasn't good in that one. No, he was fantastic. He was fantastic in so many. So yeah.
But yeah, Hoosiers. I guess would be the top one. I mean, I was a Hoopster guy, and everyone loved Hoosiers.
I mean, it is the trailblazer of the sports film.
Uh-huh.
It is the first real like sports film out there. Quick and the Dead. Yep. Another great one that he's in. So, all right. So my cry room is all the influencers all your binders, you influencers with your binders. You guys are in the cry room. All your credibility shot because you just went along with it, and you know, congratulations. You look like a fool. I think you got rid of me. Oh no. And for my saint of the week, only because, you know, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to put Pope Francis as my saint of the week because he's still fighting. He's still calling the priests. He's still calling the people in Gaza. At least that's what's being reported. He's still shining lights on that. Despite he's still, and I'm going to give him credit for that, he's still highlighting and still supporting those people, despite, you know, Trump's trying to level Gaza, and the Pope's at least trying to show you solidarity with them and continuing to do that. And plus, you know, he's 88 and he's still doing what he's doing. So he's not my favorite Pope of all time, but he's not the devil, as a lot of people have said. He's just a human being. And so, you know, I don't, and yeah, the way I've been approaching it is praying for him, obviously praying for him twofold. Obviously for him to get better, but if it's his time to go and God calls him back, if it's today or if it's 5 years from now, that he's in the state of grace to go to our Lord, because I don't want anybody to not be. So I'm going to put Pope Francis there just because he's still fighting. You can call him the anti-Pope, but I don't think that's very Catholic of you in that regard, my friend. You know, and don't take that as an insult. I just think, you know, he's the Pope. He may not be your favorite. He may not be great. But he's a lot better than, if you look at the history of the popes we've had, there's been a lot worse. there's been some really, really bad ones. Anyway, so just because he's still fighting, and so we continue to pray for the Holy Father in that regard. All right, folks, that is it for this episode of News from the Pew. Please like, subscribe, and share the News from the Pew for amazing dance videos like this. If we get to 500 viewers tonight, Steve will actually teach you how to dance like that. If you want. All right, folks, God bless. Viva Cristo Rey.